I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for May 10th, 2023. The current time now is 6 o'clock. We'll have the prayer led by Councilman Broussard and the pledge by Councilman Pollard. Councilman Broussard. Councilman Pollard.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Michael Landry. Marcus Broussard.
Here.
Lloyd Brown. Here. Warren Gutcherson.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry. Here. James Trahan.
Here.
Scott Rossonay.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Fontenay Brown. Scott Saunier.
Here.
Chad Marcheret.
We have 12 members in the quorum. I need a motion to go into public session. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Rawson. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We're now in number 1, Madam Clerk.
Public comments. Comment from the general public on agenda items.
We did not receive any requests at this time. Anybody coming in late would like to address the council? Hearing none, I need a motion to go back into regular session. Have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilman Rawson. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to community events and public service announcements. There is none. Reports from finance or administrative actions. There is none. Moving to reports from parish or other governmental agencies. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mike Tarantino to provide an update of professional economic services provided to Iberia Parish, all is authorized by resolution number 2021-27.
Mr. Tarantino, before you start, just state your name and title for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Mike Tarantino, President and CEO, Iberia Industrial Development Foundation.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I always appreciate the opportunity to come in and spend a little time with you and address and tell you what's going on in the parish and kind of give you a feel for where our economy is, where the numbers are, and things of that nature. So we'll go right into it. Let's see. I think we will.
Just a minute.
Might have to switch it over.
I see the IT expert coming up here, I think.
Well, thanks for coming, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
look.
it.
Great work, Mike.
Next time, try to cut it down a bit.
Okay, I will.
You gotta remember, we got Mr. Pat Norris coming up too.
Absolutely. So I'm having nothing but good things to say about the airport.
There we go.
All right, let's see if we can move forward. See if the doesn't feel like it's moving here. Can we try that one? Yeah, if you don't mind, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Who doesn't mind doing 2 jobs?
Thanks, Bill. Okay, monthly retail sales. That's the one I always like to start with because it's just so good. Month after month, Iberia Parish residents continue to shop Iberia First, and this is where the rubber meets the road and the numbers show on the screen. So if you can tell, this is monthly over time. The latest numbers, April 2023, 139 million 8, which is a good about 6 million higher than this time last year, and a good bit higher than about 30 million higher than the month before. It's not quite the record. But it's pretty darn close. And we really appreciate the fact that folks are paying attention to those numbers and continuing to shop here first because, of course, these numbers result in higher sales tax collections and more things for your finance committee to be able to do and to work forward. So at just about every level, sales are going good with both existing merchants, and because these numbers are so high, we're continuing to get a lot of feedback from people who want to locate in this community because they see numbers like these. So I urge the community to continue to shop Iberia First, and we'll continue to see great numbers like this. Next slide, please. Monthly unemployment rate. You can see March of 2023 is our latest confirmed number, 4% even. It's lower than both February and this time last year. Reports are that there's still a lot of jobs available out there for folks to consider. If you check out our website, our Facebook page, any given day, we have our job opportunity alerts that are out there. 600 or 700 jobs last time I counted that are available right now for folks in just about every level of skill, whether it be entry or highly skilled. There are opportunities in Iberia Parish, and so we want people to continue to engage and consider Iberia Parish for your next job, because numbers like this are really strong, and we continue to think that they'll remain strong like this. I do expect as the summer comes upon us for it to bump up just a little bit as students leave school and enter into the workforce. So you can expect that number to bump up maybe 1% or 2%, but overall that's very strong. Next slide. Drilling permits down, obviously, and you'll see when we get to the price per barrel of oil and the price per unit for gas why these permits are down. Prices start to go up. Everybody wants to drill. Prices come down. You see less permits. 37 in February of 2023, significantly down both from the month before and the year before. We're looking at those numbers, and I'll give you an example. Back in November of 2022, 85 seemed like a big number, but many of us can remember when that drilling permit was in the hundreds. And so we've still got a long way to go as a state to continue to get our drilling permits back to where they need, so that where they can be strong, but we continue to hang in there and do our thing. Next slide, please. Monthly crude oil prices, March of 2023 was $76 per barrel, which is down on both. I checked the spot price today. It's at about $72.79, down about 1%. So oil prices are dropping, and I don't expect them to drop much more than that, but you never can tell in today's economy where that'll go. But as long as they stay between $75 and $85 a barrel, the oil and gas companies that I've talked to tell me they can make a profit. Not much, but they can make a profit. And so, I'm not really overly concerned. Of course, we'd all like it to be higher, and we hope that continues. But between $75 and $85 a barrel is that comfort point right in the middle where you can make a little bit. Next slide. The monthly rig count, of course, with permits and with permits down and with the price of oil down, you're going to see less monthly rig counts overall. However, 64 is not much lower than it was the month before, and of course, about three rigs higher than February. This number really doesn't change much, but I just wanted to show you this as an ongoing measurement of where our rigs are. This is, of course, on land and in Louisiana state waters. Next slide. This is your monthly natural gas price per unit. Again, this is the story. Now that we come out of the wintertime, we didn't have a very cold winter this year. Again, I've said this before, in June and July of last year, things were happening globally, but also people were expecting a cold winter. When that didn't materialize, prices came down exponentially. So in March of 2023, you're looking at $2.27 per unit. I checked the spot price today. It's at $2.18, down 3%, almost 4%. So gas prices are dropping. People will like to see that in their utility bills, but it's not something we want to see when it comes to a strong gas business here in our parish. No telling what's going to happen. We'll see maybe as the year progresses how that shakes out energy-wise, but just really, really low prices right now. Next slide, please. Acadiana Regional Airport monthly operations. I see folks from the airport here, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I did want to show you these numbers like we do each month. April of 2023, 3,048 operations at ARA, down from both the month before and the year before. We did get reports from Mr. Sanji recently that military traffic is up and, continuing to do well. And, of course, the FBO, the fixed base operator at the airport, is doing significant investments out there, so we think that that'll improve over time. You've got a wonderful airport, and there's a lot of potential there. We want to continue to keep investing in that and continuing to tell people what great services you'll receive when you land at our airport, and that'll affect these numbers as well. Next slide. Okay, I just wanted to, that's the statistics, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about this. We have been receiving a lot of folks, both domestically and internationally, who have an interest in investing in Iberia Parish. This was a group of site selectors from Japan that had come in. I was showing them a site at the Port of Iberia right off of Pesson Road. There's a 50-acre piece right there at the port. They have shown a lot of interest. There's an oil and gas related fabrication style project that they're considering. They're checking out a number of different communities across the southeastern United States, but this is the site that they wanted to see in Iberia Parish. They were very impressed with it. We continue to work with them and until they make their decision. They really like the fact that we've got we have good sites close to water where rail can come in, and that particular site at the port is great for that kind of thing. And so just wanted to show you this. This was a real opportunity. They didn't understand me, and I didn't understand them for a minute, but we figured it out. But they were very happy with what they saw. We hope we can continue to work with them. Next slide, please. I also wanted to let you know that I had the opportunity to visit last month. Had an opportunity to visit to attend the Site Selectors Guild conference. The Site Selectors Guild are the top 150 site selectors in the nation. I was invited to attend their conference this year. That's where all the decision makers really are, and of course you want to be there. Here's some of the sessions that they invited us to. I actually spoke on one of the panels. The first one was the elevator pitch. Consultants offer candid feedback on EDO presentations. They were telling us when we send in proposals, what we can do to give better proposals and give better presentations. And of course, you know, the federal incentives for infrastructure with the Inflation Reduction Act. There's a lot of stuff coming out of the federal government right now, grant-wise, for infrastructure with the IRA. We got some tips from that perspective as well, and got an opportunity to talk with a lot of federal consultants on the latest thing is, airports and roadways and sewer and rural broadband and a whole host of different things. And so I appreciated the opportunity to attend that and to be invited. I don't know if there's another slide. Oh, this is, wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to see this. This was a cover story in the latest edition of Lobby's magazine. I think it's called Fifth and Main. Lobby, of course, is the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. They put together a color magazine, I want to say 4 times a year. This was a cover story in their latest edition. This is a story about the world-class biomedical research facility in Iberia Parish. And, there was a lot of discussion about the biomedical accelerator, the biomedical facilities that are planned, the manufacturing facility, the projects that you've heard about that UL has announced. And so it's getting a lot of attention, a lot of good, positive press on Iberia Parish, a lot of focus on what can happen with biomedical here. And there was a whole wonderful, positive story about it in that magazine. So just wanted to make sure that y'all know that and y'all saw that. That's all I have for a report today. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Mike at this time, members? I do have one, Mike. We were talking about the sales tax increases. Do we think that's due to the cost of goods and services due to inflation?
So, the great question. So I've talked to thank you. I've talked to UL's economist emeritus. Everybody knows Lauren Scott from LSU. Well, this is Dr. Gary Wagner, who is the lead economist at UL Lafayette, and he tells me that inflation usually has about a 1% effect, maybe a 2% effect on the numbers that you see. So even if you backed out 1 to 2% on those numbers, still very strong. Of course, it's going to bump up a little bit just because of those inflationary numbers, but he tells me it's got about a 1 to 2% effect. So still strong.
We had a deficit of $750,000 in our solid waste collections and the sales tax. We really closed the gap tremendously over the last 8 to 12 months. So, whatever's happening, I hope it continues. It's really kind of, our challenges are kind of seeming to go away, but I'm talking kind of fast, but at least we seeing some relief at our local stores.
Those are really good. I'll just say this. Those are really good numbers and really good positive effects. I do challenge the entire community to keep their eye on the other costs, though, that are really big challenges. We all know it. The challenges of higher interest rates and things on mortgages, and also a really serious challenge and something that we all need to be focused on, and that is the higher cost of homeowners and flood insurance. So those numbers take buying power out, okay? So we need to continue to focus on those things as a larger community. But good news to report on the retail front. We hope people continue that. Thank you.
Hearing no other questions, thank you for being here, Mr. Tarantino.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Moving on to Public Works reports. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Public Works Department report for closed work orders dated April 12th through 25th, 2023.
That should have been emailed to you, members. Moving on to special business. There is none. Council member announcements. Councilman Napier is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things. Number one, I apologize, I wasn't at the last meeting, but I do want to just give a shout out to, I know y'all all know what happened at Ward 8, when that storm came through that, early Sunday morning. But thanks to Bo, to Michael, to our contractor that was there that Sunday afternoon, met me out there, and to Parish President Richard, they allowed me to do what I think I do have a little bit of experience in, and we got things rolling pretty quick on that to get that facility covered and to stop the water that came in. The temporary repairs are complete. We waiting on Ms. Tranholm with the Parks and Recreation to and her engineer architect to come up with another plan to do a permanent cover. And also Mr. John Boudreau, who sits on the board for us, had met me out there Sunday. He was out there Monday. It was a group effort with the administration, and I want to thank y'all for letting me bother y'all on Sunday and Monday, and we got it done. So everybody working together, we got that thing covered. So I want to just a shout out to the people involved. The next thing is I was privileged to attend Miss Eileen Gashasan's lemonade stand a couple Saturdays ago, and I'm gonna tell you, her mother does a great job raising that little girl, and they did a great job. And Warren did help. He did. He did. I gotta give him that. But it was I'm gonna tell you, it was like a fair out there. They had.
I did not witness Warren helping.
You
I
did?
didn't get to ride on the train. I'm a little.
I wanted to ride the pony, but they wouldn't let me. But he did. Look, hats off to him. It was awesome. It was great. Lot of people, business people, political people. He brought together for a very worthy cause for the Unpregnancy Center, and hats off to you. I just want to give you a
Thank you.
big round of applause. It was.
I think it was what tipped the iceberg was saying that Mr. Tron was cooking.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Oh, I
came out.
forgot, yeah. We had jambalaya.
We had to tell him you helped.
Did he? Stirred the pot?
You got
We
Mr.
actually put a
Brown a
piece of
little
the
excited
tennis
over there.
You put a piece of the tin up.
Thank you, Councilman Napier. Councilwoman Broussard.
We're doing congratulations for great community events. I'd like to congratulate Dean and Catherine Watney and with Iberia Mental Health
Absolutely.
and Heart for Iberia for a record-breaking race again this year. I believe the number was closer to 440 this year. So our record number of racers. We did have about an hour rain delay because of the weather, but once the weather cleared up, the people showed up. We had a fantastic turnout and a great race to bring awareness to mental health. So thank y'all for everything y'all are doing with that.
Councilwoman Broussard, yours back.
I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'd also like to remind everyone, I did announce last meeting, but I'll announce it every meeting until it happens, that on June 8th, CERT and Volunteer Louisiana is hosting Parish Prepared. It's a citizens disaster conference for family and community preparedness. That'll be held at 6 o'clock in the Slyman. we're asking people to pre-register. Pre-registration is not required, but just to have an idea to prepare properly. I'll get all the council members the information to be able to register. We would appreciate y'all supporting this, as well as the community. Get as much support as we got for the lemonade stand and the mental health awareness race. This is to have individuals and their families prepared. This is not to be trained to be a CERT volunteer or anything of that nature. This is bringing in experts to help you know how to have yourself individually and your family prepared in the case of a disaster. Hurricane season officially starts June 1st, so we'll be having this on June 8th to help our community be prepared individually. So,
Now Councilwoman's finished.
no, I'm finished. Thank you, Mr.
Councilwoman
Gutierrez.
Broussard yields back. Councilman Olivier is recognized.
Thank you, Warren. I'd like to remind everyone that their personal financial disclosure statement is due May the 5th. If you didn't get it turned in yet, you have until the 15th of this month to get it turned in. Also to remind everyone about the Legislative Day at the Capitol in Baton Rouge at 8 a.m. on May the 17th in Baton Rouge. I'd like to see as many council members attend that as possible. Also, on May the 24th, Senator Cassidy is sponsoring a Rural Community Funding Summit in Lake Charles on May the 24th. That is available for us to go to, so if I do plan on going to it. If anybody else would like to go, maybe we can get together and we can drive up there that morning and be back for our council meeting, that night, okay? The other thing I want to mention that I had the opportunity to visit the Capitol on Monday and Tuesday of this week. There's a lot going on in session right now. Today was the House Bill 2, where capital outlay was covered in the House. So hopefully that went well. Beau Boyer does serve on that committee as vice chair. I didn't get the results of it yet, but there's several capital outlay bills that's in that bill for Iberia Parish as well. So hopefully everything went through with no glitches. Besides that, I continue to monitor quite a few bills with the Police Jury Association. Some bills have a negative input on local government, and some has a positive input in local government. Just making sure that we're not suffering in local government, in any kind of way, with unfunded mandates that they apply to us in local government. But for the most part, we also covered a lot of information with carbon capture on my weekly call with the Police Jury Association. There is legislation by Clay Schick-Snyder right now to try to fine-tune the language on carbon capture, on how local government can actually protect themselves as well as capture some type of revenue from this carbon capturing process. Other than that, there is normally tension in Baton Rouge as usual between legislators, but they seem to work things out. But overall, things are moving and progressing in Baton Rouge. Thank you, Warren.
Councilman Olivier yields back. Councilman Rawson is recognized.
We held the Acadiana Odyssey Monument dedication ceremony a couple of weeks back, and I just want to thank everybody that showed up: Mr. Billy Nungesser, Mr. Beau Boyer, Mr. Blake Miguez, Sheriff Tom Romero, Judge Pittman, Mr. Scott Saunier, as well as myself, the mayor, and it was well attended. I was very impressed when I drove up and saw over a few hundred people easy, 300 to 400 people. Was not expecting that, to be honest, with the weather. That was my main concern, but it went great. Oh, and also the Canadian delegation. We had 5 or 6 people from Canada, and there's big plans for this thing. So there's talk of, first we're gonna build a little monument park. We're gonna need donations, hint, hint. Also, that talking about expanding as far as this would be the point of a whole somewhat Acadiana tourist type, dedication to the Acadiana culture and how we got here and our whole ancestors and whatnot. So that would that impact everybody, not only District 9. So I also attended the lemonade stand. That is great. Big impact as far as on her, your daughter. Your daughter's learning a lot right there. She might sit in that chair one day.
Huh.
And Brian could have
Look out, Iberia Parish.
Yeah. And Warren did help, and Brian could have rode the pony, but thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Rawson yields back. Anyone else, members on announcements? Lady Brown.
Hi. start off, I want to just thank you, Mr. Eugene, for your commitment and the time that you put into traveling to the Capitol this week. Your commitment to obtaining as much information and bringing it back to the parish is truly appreciated. So I want to say thank you for that. And then I would also like to acknowledge Kayshawn Booty, who was a Westgate graduate, for being drafted to the NFL by the New England Patriots.
Big,
I yield
huge.
back.
Congratulations, Mr. Booty. Councilwoman Brown yields back. Councilman Pollard is recognized.
Yes, just to kind of piggyback on that, I really hope a lot of people can go out and support and get much learning and training as possible. This past weekend, Saturday morning, I was riding down, going to Delpham, and I just seen all kind of debris and trees down off the Jefferson Island Road by the Gonsoulin Farm. Just all looked like it just came down that Jefferson Island Road from that stretch from Delpham, you know. So just push this issue. Hey, we need to get ready, not just for the hurricane season, because all these windstorms is popping up and doing a lot of damage also.
Sure.
I'm done.
Councilman Pollard yields back. Councilman Broussard is recognized.
What was the time for the sir? You said June 8th?
June 8th at 6 p.m. At this
I
Lyman.
didn't catch
Doors
the
will
time.
open at 5:30. The program will start at 6.
Councilman Broussard yields back. Anyone else, members? Hearing none, we'll move on to parish president's announcements. We do have the parish president for the first time. And Mr. Richard?
Quite some time.
Yeah, quite.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I want to thank you, Warren, and all of the parish council members for allowing me to join in on the council meeting for a quick update on my illness. I can only begin with thanks to God for watching over me with his daily blessings. By the grace of God, I'm doing good. I'm getting stronger every day. I'm able to work, and that itself is therapy. Thanks to everyone for all of the prayers. They're much appreciated. I want to thank my wife, Kim. She's been my continued support, one of my prayer warriors, and my rock. There's no way I could have made it to where I'm at right now without Kim and by the grace of God. I want to thank my daughter, Morgan, my son, Tyler, my son-in-law, Rusty, for really stepping up and helping in every way possible. And believe me, I see everything that's going on, and I appreciate it. It's been a while since I talked to you guys, and I'm excited. Thank you to all the parish council members for your support and your prayers. I want to give a big thank you to the administration, to my staff, as we operate in an effective and productive manner through Zoom, telephone conversations, telephone conferences. It's been great to work with everyone. I want to thank the parish council for working with me and continuing to move this parish forward. This is something that we've been doing collectively for years, taking care of our Berea Parish business. At this time, I'm going to let Bo move on with the parish president's announcements, but thank y'all so very much for letting me speak to y'all this evening. It feels so good to listen to this council meeting. It's almost like I'm at the beginning when I first started this year. I appreciate talking to you guys and looking forward to communicating more. Of course, I talk to council members on a regular basis. Of course, I just can't see anyone right now due to my immune system. But thank all of you.
Thank you, Larry.
I received an update yesterday from Sellers and Associates on the Uniswap Bridge replacement. This is the small bridge, not the bayou. The field survey work is scheduled to begin within just a few weeks, scheduled to begin next month. As we all know, Saturday morning, May 6th, we had some pretty strong winds that came through, as Councilman Pollard said. We had several limbs, large limbs, and trees down throughout the parish. I want to thank, on behalf of President Reshort, our Public Works Department, who once again got called in on their days off to go in and take care of all of the debris. So thank you very much to Public Works. As always, we appreciate you, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. We have the minutes for regular meeting of April 26, 2023. Summary number 94, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
Hold on, I don't know what I did.
It's okay. We'll come back to that. Go ahead.
Summary number 94, a resolution proclaiming the month of May 2023 as Mental Health Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 95, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution proclaiming the month of May 2023 as Building Safety Month in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 5143, no, I think that's it. I apologize. I need a motion to open the consent agenda items. Have a motion by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Saunier. This time, members, anyone would like to remove an item from consent agenda? Members, if you wouldn't mind, I'd ask somebody, I can't do it as the chairman, but to at least remove summary number 94, and the Watneys are here. I have a request by Councilwoman Broussard, and for what purpose?
So that we can discuss it and read the proclamation.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay. Anyone else? Hearing none. Just summary 95, we'll vote on as is, and then we'll go back to summary 94. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Summary number 94, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution proclaiming the month of May 2023 as Mental Health Month in Iberia Parish.
Do I have a motion to open?
Move.
Have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard. Second by Councilman Olivier. I do believe we have a proclamation, but I want to bring up the Watneys, please, if we can. I want the public to see the Watneys, who has been very instrumental in addressing mental health here, and I do believe Bo's going to read the proclamation, and then we'll get a good picture of it.
Proclamation, Mental Health Month 2023. Look around, look within. Whereas the area that someone lives in plays a significant role in their overall health and well-being, and whereas surroundings can impact if, how, and when a person's needs are met, which in turn affects mental health. And whereas having safe, stable, and healthy home conditions set the foundation for achieving and maintaining good mental health. And whereas with early and effective interventions, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Therefore, I, M. Larry Richard, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Mental Health Month in Iberia Parish. As the parish president, I also call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Iberia Parish to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. M. Larry Richard, Iberia Parish President.
Thank you so much.
And if I could ask Mr. and Mrs. Watney to come to the front for a photograph.
Sure.
And anyone else associated with mental
Wait, Mike, did you get it? Yeah, look, right here real quick. You got another one?
Yep. D. Turn to him.
Fingers on the rim.
He's got one.
Oh,
I would like to, on behalf of our organization, thank the council and the parish president for allowing us to have declared May as Mental Health Month. It's so very important to give light to the awareness of good mental health, and that's what this resolution does. Absolutely. And there were a lot of thank yous here tonight, and we want to add our thank yous as well. We want to thank the participants in our race and all those who helped support it, and the sponsors and the volunteers. And we even had some council member volunteers. Mr. James Trahan cooked the jambalaya. And we even had Warren to serve it. He didn't cook it, but he served it.
Most important part, sir.
He was there serving it, and of course Natalie was there handing out medals and helping with various other details.
It was a great event. The weather was a little concerned. We were holding on to tables and shirts and ourselves, and it was delayed about an hour. But it was another record-breaking event, and we had a team. One team had 88 participants walking in support of a family. Really incredible. And that's what the race is about, to bring awareness to good mental health. So once again, thank you for all y'all have done to support that over the years.
All right, members, Ms. Broussard, you did open. Would you like to say anything?
No, I think we've.
Ms. Broussard, yours back. Councilman Olivier on discussion? Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5143, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk. Not too fast for you.
Okay. An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for general parish, formerly known as general alimony, which is levied on all taxable property in the rural areas of the parish only at the adjusted rate of 4.12 mills for 2023.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Brown. Councilman Olivier.
Wave.
Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5144, introduced by the clerk of the council.
An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for the exempted municipalities formerly known as criminal tax, which is levied on all taxable property in the municipalities only at the adjusted rate of 2.06 mills for 2023. Note, this millage rate cannot be more than 1/2 of the general parish millage rate.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Brown. Councilman Olivier.
Wave.
Councilman Brown. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5145, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for the public library system, which is levied on all taxable property in the parish at the rate of 5.85 mills for 2023.
I have a motion by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Brown. Councilman Napier on discussion.
So just briefly, y'all, I know with the library, we have kind of held it down for, I think, since we've been here. But in probably next council meeting, I'll have something, or Miss Kathy will have something about, y'all know I've been working with a contractor trying to get some stuff for the main library. And I finally got a big package back on everything that needs to be done, and it is substantial, you know. So I'm just putting a bug in y'all ear that, you know, this year we might want to consider, you know, helping the library out. They're gonna need it, and it needs to be done, and I'll explain more when it comes up for council. But I just want to let y'all know, I do have the packet. I'm gonna meet with Ms. Kathy tomorrow probably, and then however she wants to proceed with it in committee and then full council. But they're gonna need a little bit extra money this year, so.
Councilman Napier.
That's it. Thank you, Mr.
Yields
Chairman.
back. Councilman Brown on discussion. Councilman Brown waves. Any main motion discussion, members?
Just a clarification, Mr.
Councilman Olivier.
This millage of 5.85, we're locked into that right now. Am I correct,
That's-
Brenda?
No. Right now, we're,
Well,
No.
I know
Maximum,
we
right.
3.5 now.
correct.
Right.
But anyway, we don't have to do anything with this until next year.
Well, you,
We have to,
Next year will be a reassessment year.
Right.
And I spoke with the legislative auditor. She told me that the adjusted maximum millage will become the new maximum.
new max next year.
So
Yeah.
for instance, this year's rates, 5.76 would be the new maximum.
And we're assessing right now at 3.5,
That's 3.5.
which has been there, like Mr.
Right,
Napier said,
correct,
since.
yeah. But in order for us to keep the max rate next year, we're gonna have to raise
Have
it.
to
To
max.
keep the max rate of 5.85 is what you're, what you're saying?
No, the max, the adjusted max rate for next year, we're gonna have to support that, am I correct? In order to keep
To
that.
keep it.
To keep that max rate?
No, because she told me that next year when they do the
Okay.
rates, they will determine what the adjusted maximum millage is.
Okay.
And then when that rate comes out, that will be the new.
The new max
maximum.
rate? Okay, all right, okay.
We don't know what that is.
Councilman Olivier?
Not until next year.
Yields
All right.
back. Just for the point of order or record, is our sinking fund, we paid the debt off, is that correct, Kim? And that was 0.01 or 2. It went, we cut it a couple times, right?
Two,
But the last couple of years, it reduced a little bit. What was it, you remember? Okay. If it's the wishes of the council to at least raise it some, you do have at least that wiggle room. So I'm always open to that discussion, but right now, it's 5.85. Previously, the previous year was assessed at 3.50. Anyone else on discussion, members? Councilman Landry?
What's the fund balance that they have? Is it enough to cover the roof?
Oh, yeah. I'm saying, oh, yeah. No, it's not.
It's 6,
6.5, 6.4.
it's, yeah, it's 6 million plus,
There's
expected.
no rush?
No. How much, let me let you.
Ms. Segura, I'm sure a question will come up. If you don't mind, come to the mic for us, please.
Right now?
Councilman,
Is he finished?
Councilman Landry, I'm sorry. You were finished?
Yeah, I'm waiting to second his,
Are we predetermining a substitute motion already?
no, I can see it in his eyes.
Fortune teller, man. Love it. I'm gonna give you Ms. Segura, and then she'll be able to answer that question that you asked. Ms. Segura, if you can just state your name and title for the record, please.
Kimberly Segura, Director of Finance.
Councilman Rawson,
I'm sorry, I was,
did you you asked about fund balance?
what is the exact number? Do you have it handy?
No, I'd have to go figure
It's
it out.
6,400,000.
It's fair to say over
Yeah.
6 million.
I mean, it's substantial.
6,479,585, I think it is.
So you know, but you're asking her.
Well, we don't want misinformation here for the public. It's roughly over $6 million.
Yeah, I think we all
Okay,
knew that.
so you still have the floor. So we got the clarification from our finance.
Yeah, I had a question. What is the expected increase in revenue from 3.5 to 5.76?
I knew I should have brought my grid.
It's 1,000,007.
321.
So you're looking at an increase annually of 1,321,000.
Yeah, no, yeah, tonight, yeah. You gotta come up with it tonight. Yeah, that's why we're doing it now. I mean, we can-
Apologize, yeah, that's on this, the roll forward.
correct.
The current 3.5 is 2 million, I'll say 46. Unless this roof is,
okay.
$7 million.
No, I never said that.
Well, hold
I
on, let's
never-
not go back and forth.
Okay,
You
well,
did
look.
have the floor, and I'll give you an
Go ahead.
opportunity to
Go
address
ahead.
that.
I'm with Mr. Landry, what he said. $6.5 million right now, fund balance. They have 2 roofs, if I remember correctly, that are, one's damaged near Iberia, right? And then there's another one
Two.
that needs some
And then this
repair
one,
work.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking the fund balance can plenty cover it right now, and we can address this maybe next year if they hit it too hard, the fund balance. So that's my point, and I'll have a substitute after this if you don't mind.
Yep. Councilman Rawson, they yields back. I just want to say this. I'm gonna go back to the solid waste fund, how quickly a fund balance can disappear. We had over $5 million. Am I correct, Mr. Landry? And we watched that die off over 2 years. So I'm just, we say just the 2 roofs, but it seems like every time we turn around, our aging buildings are costing more and more. But Councilman Napier?
So, I never, look. No, we just built one in Lowville. Yeah, so,
Still got warranty,
Look,
don't we?
to say it's gotta be 5.85, I never said that. I never said that. The cost, depending on what it comes back, it's gonna cost substantial. Plus, they just did 2 roofs, one at, I forget where they were. Anyway, Parkview and.
St. Peter.
Yeah, in St. Peter, right. It doesn't have to be this to cover that roof. They don't have to have $1 million. And look, I have been one before you came here when it was Paul, back in 16, and we have held them down every year. We have, and I have supported that. All I'm saying is that we should, my opinion, go up some. Does it have to be 5.85? I'm not saying that. Let your conscience be your guide. But what I'm saying is we've gone up on the other ones. To me, I would support some type of increase, however the council wants to go, to cover, because they not just sitting back. They doing their due diligence in trying to make repairs to the buildings that they have. I'm just saying, that one right there in the middle of town, right by City Hall, it's an old building that, to me, in my opinion, you want to do it and you want to do it right. Look, they came and we almost gave them approved $200,000 that wouldn't have done what needed to be done. That's out the way, that's scrapped. I'm saying and they could do it, even with nothing, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think we should support some type of increase, at least for this year.
And we're looking at $500,000, but you don't know what's underneath the roof, just like the courthouse, until you start peeling the layers.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I agree
No,
with you, and that's why I suggested the sinking fund. If y'all, at least we knew if we still stayed millage neutral, you gave them some type of a bump, which I think it was 100-something thousand, Kim?
For
I'm putting you on the spot.
sinking, yes. The .22, .25 was probably 130.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't significant. Councilman Napier yields back. Councilman Saunier is recognized. No, I'll come to you.
Yeah, look, the damage that's been done to the infrastructure that we.
Mike, Brendan,
Microphone, Bill.
turn them all on, leave them on.
Mic check. There we go. The damage that you're experiencing within this one structure, I can assure you, is based on deferred maintenance, which we have done with a lot of buildings throughout the parish because of funding issues.
Sure.
The voters voted on this quite a while back. This council decided to bring this back down. So when you listen to people within this community who are constantly complaining that we don't have nice stuff, that they want something like Lafayette and other places, then the problem with that is because nobody wants to pay for anything. So when you look at libraries, I believe that is a strong part of the root system of a community. My mother died when she was 92 years old. She had a library card up until that point. A lot of people use these facilities. So I think the investment in that is a wise one. Again, the voters voted for it. I don't think we're asking to burden someone unnecessarily so that we can basically upkeep the infrastructure that we've built here. So I'm fully in support of going for the 5.85, if that's what you want, Brian. I think that if we want nice stuff, then we're going to have to do what it takes to get it. So that's my take.
Councilman Saunier, well said, sir.
I went to the lemonade stand.
Councilman Saunier yields back. Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
Well, it was Kool-Aid. I didn't get the
I just want to remind the council that the .22 or the .25 from the sinking fund that we didn't renew last year, we spread that over the other ones. So that has already been eaten up. So it's not like we have that the taxpayers would not feel an increase if we just added that to the library. They would still feel that increase in their property taxes.
Okay. Well said, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Anyone else? Councilman Landry, back at it again.
Well, sometimes I forgot my hearing aids. so
okay.
sometimes I get a little confused.
We play it on TV every week.
Yeah, so we want to go up on the millage that we charge the people, and that $6 million fund balance, that's the library, that's not the airport, is it?
No, library is
There's
with
no
an
library
L,
fund.
Okay.
airport's with an A.
Yeah, so we're going to fix maybe, let's just say $1 million roof. If you're going to go from 3.5 to 5.85, that's going to bring in more than $1 million taxing the people when you got $6 million in the bank. I mean, even if we had to demolish the building and rebuild it, Laurelville and Coteau costs us $1.3 million. You could build a brand-new one down on Main Street for 2.5, and you'd still have 3.5 million in the fund balance. I can't see how we even thinking about taxing the people more. I know it's an election year, but God, most of the people, friends of the library, they're in my district, so you don't have to worry about that. We need to think about the voters, about the taxpayers.
Understand, Mr. Landry, you finish?
Probably not, but I'll reserve.
Okay, Councilman Landry yields back. Councilman Olivier?
Yeah, you know, we've been asking the library for quite some time now to use up some of the fund balance. Because I always thought to make the library whole, that millage should be about 4.00 mills. That'll pretty much cover the daily operation expenses. I think the expense runs about $3 million a year, and we're actually only collecting about $2,045,000, the way it looks right now, at the 3.5. So we've been asking them for the last few years to go in the fund balance about $500,000 or so to kind of make ends meet. So I think if we give them the additional 0.50 to make them whole at 4.00 mills, and then they can go into the fund balance without having to worry about the day-to-day operation expenses being not covered. And they can go to the fund balance and replace that roof like some of us are saying, without having to go back to the people for more money. But that would be my suggestion if it ever comes to a substitute motion. Thank you.
Councilman Olivier yields back. Councilman Brown's recognized.
You know, we're talking about millage and bringing them up and down. Let's take the health unit. We had that millage, we lowered it. We kept it low. You know what the state did? They took their money from us. They said, y'all have money, use it. So right now, we shorted nurses. At one time, we had 5 or so nurses that the state was taking care of, even the jail. That was the health unit, the millage. We kept it there. So they said, we're not gonna give y'all money when y'all got some saved, when y'all could be using it, and the people voted for that. I'm through.
Councilman Brown yields back. Kim, let me go back to ask that question again. The sinking fund, we paid that debt off last year, correct?
Last year, yes.
So how could we have used that 2.2 or that 0.225 if we just paid it off last year and we're coming into a new fiscal year?
So it was not levied in '22. It was closed out in '22. It was paid off in '22. The
Okay.
last year that it was levied was '21.
And
Because
be-
you levy like you're levying
Correct.
villages at this point, that levy will not be collected until later this year. So it's collected, the earliest is November of this year. It
Okay.
would be collected and it's to be used in the following year.
Okay, I was listening to Councilwoman
Yes,
Broussard.
because it's like a year behind,
Okay, what I thought.
that you use it.
Councilman Broussard?
All of the other millages we offer have right now maxed out, is that correct? Maxed out. This is the only one that's not maxed out, right? We don't have to max it out.
It's too much. Can we?
Put all the mics on.
Do I need to start over?
Yeah,
Good.
go ahead, please. I
So
apologize,
I was
Mr.
asking the question, all the other millages that we have, all of them are maxed out, right? We can't, some of which, or many of them, are underfunded even with maxed out millages, is that correct? This is the only one that's not. And if we don't max it out next year, then we go to what Mr. Brown was saying about it being reduced and we can't utilize it for whatever so I guess my point is I think I'm going with Mr. Eugene here, or some semblance of a somewhere in the middle where we can go at a 4, get the library, what it needs for its maintenance, and then also the expense of the roof. So somewhere in that ballpark would be something I'd be for.
So a 0.5 increase?
I don't know if that's what Scott was gonna offer as some sort of,
I'm open for discussion.
Councilman Broussard, are you finished?
I just want to, just, all the other millages are maxed out, and a lot of them are underfunded. It's not enough, so we need to think about that going forward. So, anyway, I'm good.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Landry?
I'm gonna come back again. I think we need to leave it at 3.5. The millages come up for renewal in '24, and we can let the people decide what they wanna do. We got more than enough money in the bank to leave it like that. Don't tax our people any harder. When the library and the health unit and everything comes up to the voters, we let them decide what they want us to do. So you let it run like it is right now at 3.5, and we let the people know that they'll make the decision in the end of '23 or whenever we put it on the ballot for them. So that way the people get to decide, not us.
Okay. Councilman Landry yields back. Anyone else? Any substitute motions on the floor at this time, members? Councilman Rawson.
I'd like to make a substitution to change the millage rate from 5.85 to 3.5 where it was currently.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Rawson, second on the floor by Councilman Landry. And that's, let me restate that. The motion on the floor is to bring it from 5.85 mils to 3.5 mils. Any discussion on the substitute motion, members?
I'm sorry, could you repeat it?
Yes, ma'am, I apologize. His motion on the floor is to amend from 5.85 to its current hike, rate of 3.50, so making it millage neutral. Is that correct? Yes. Any discussion? Did you want to discuss on that, Ms. Brown? I will. I'm gonna vote against that one. Not, you know, look, my daughters utilize that facility, and I get what you're saying about the 6 million. I get that there is a healthy fund balance, but I think we can have some common ground of some, doesn't have to be a significant increase, but we can see some increase to show that, again, there is maintenance to be held on not just that building, but it's gonna come down to other buildings. We've held them down since 2016. I'm gonna vote against the proposal, not just because we have a healthy fund balance, but at some point we have to maintain what we have.
Right.
Councilman Sonia?
Yeah, look, I'm going to vote against this also, and I would be good with a compromise at some point. As I stated before, the people did vote on this, and this council decided before to reduce it. So at this particular point, I don't know why we couldn't make a decision to increase it just to keep things where they need to be. So, along with Warren, I will not support this motion. But I would ask that we agree.
Councilman Sonia yields back. Anyone else on the discussion of the substitute motion? Councilman Landry?
A lot of the new guys ain't gonna remember, but you'll remember that when we had one of the meetings for the budget and stuff, I had them put up the cost per visit for the library system. And it's a graph between 50 and 90,000, and Iberia Parish falls right in the middle at 70. And we keep dropping. So we were in the bottom, I think it was 15% of using for the money. So I just don't think it's being spent right, and I just can't see us taxing the people anymore when they got $6 million in the budget, and we can wait and let the people decide what they want to do in '24, well, in '23 for '24. I mean, you just got plenty of money. I mean, it's like you turn around and you give a raise to the guy that's just slacking the most on the job.
Thank you, Councilman Landry. Anyone else on the substitute motion discussion, members? Madam Clerk, I'd like to call roll individually and let them vote either up or down so that we don't have the train wreck like we normally do, if you can. We'll start the roll call vote. Again, members, those yay would bring it to 3.5, the original collection. Nay would be against the proposal. Call the roll.
Tommy Pollard? Michael Landry? Marcus Broussard? Lloyd Brown?
Say that again, Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Warren Gotchison?
Nay.
Natalie Broussard?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait,
After.
Hold
You
on,
have to
Madam
fix it
Clerk.
after.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Brown, before we take it. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Ms.
Paul?
Broussard was yes?
Yes. Paul Landry,
I'm for the substitute.
Yes.
James Trahan,
Yes.
Scott Rossini,
Yes.
Eugene Olivier,
Nay.
Brian Napier,
Nay.
Get too much money in the fund balance.
Lady Fontaine Brown,
$6 million. That roof is $1 million.
Scott Sonye,
Nay.
Still got $5 million.
Jay Monterey.
Tax the businesses that actually.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I want to.
Mr. Brown would like to reconsider his vote, changing it from yes to no?
Yes.
So if I did it right, Madam Clerk, we have 5 yeas, 8 nays, and 1 absent voting, correct?
That's correct.
That motion fails.
Eugene, they got more than enough money. You could bulldoze that building and make a nice library, state of the art, for less than $3 million.
Go ahead and explain it to the
And you still
council.
have $3 million in the bank. There's no reason to tax the people.
Okay. On the millage rate sheet from the legislative auditor, we inadvertently picked up the maximum rate.
Microphone.
On the legislative auditor's millage report, we inadvertently picked up the maximum rate. This rate should have been at the 3.5. So any rate above the 3.5 would be considered a roll forward, which we did not advertise for.
Really?
Problem solved.
All right, members.
So wait a minute. Whoa, whoa. So what you saying, Warren?
No, I'm not saying anything.
So
That's why I
we
told,
gotta
had her
leave
tell
it,
you.
Can we table it?
No, I mean, from what she's saying, we're locked at
Ian?
3.50.
So, can we still meet the second set of deadlines if they did want to
I can
advertise
call
at
the
the?
legislative auditor's office tomorrow to see. We may end up having to go into June, which we have done in the past. It's usually due by June 1st. Sometimes with little hiccups or whatever, they will allow us to submit it later. I can check with the assessor's office.
So we can table and come back next meeting. I'm not gonna call a special meeting to up a millage. I'm not gonna waste money to do that. But if you have it in the amount of time that they allow, then we can come back. So we don't jeopardize anything by tabling tonight, correct?
No.
It just stays if you miss it. Does it stay?
No.
No.
No,
We have to.
No. If we don't adopt something,
It stays at 3.5.
no, you have to set it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
set
have
it each
to.
year.
Yeah.
So, but we can table it tonight.
Right.
Correct. And like Brenda said, you have to levy it. You can't just not do it, period. So, I mean, we shouldn't, y'all should have the opportunity to vote on this issue. There's some disagreement over it, and
Correct.
it shouldn't be determined by the fact that we missed it in the advertisement portion. You know, y'all should still have the ability to decide the issue
Okay.
by a vote, yeah.
Members, it's up to you guys for a consensus.
Make a motion to table.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Napier to table, second by Councilman Brown. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Oh, let me stop for a second. Table to the next meeting?
Yeah.
Is that okay with the second? All right, we didn't state that, so it's table summary number 5145 to the next meeting. Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hear no opposition. I'm sorry, I had an opposition by Councilman Landry and Councilman Rossini. That motion carries. Moving on to summary number 5146, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk. Tabled.
An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for the public building maintenance, which is levied on all taxable property in the parish at the adjusted rate of 4.76 mils for 2023.
I have a motion by Councilman Brown. Second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Brown. Councilman Olivier. Any main motion, members? Any main motion discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5147, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for the public health unit, which is levied on all taxable property in the parish at the adjusted rate of 2.11 mils for 2023.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Brown. Councilman Olivier. Councilman Brown. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 5148, introduced by the clerk of the council.
An ordinance setting forth and establishing a property millage for drainage facilities, which is levied on all taxable property in the parish at the adjusted rate of 4.00 mils for 2023.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Brown. Second by Councilman Napier. Councilman Brown. Councilman Napier. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 96, introduced by Tommy Pollard of District 1.
A resolution amending the 2023 general fund budget in the amount of $1,000 to appropriate proportional funding for the design, fabrication, and installation of the Bayou Teche National Water and Paddle Trail directional and site identification signage for Iberia Parish as requested by the Teche project.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Have a motion by Councilman Pollard, second by Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Pollard?
Wave.
Councilwoman Broussard. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We do have expansion request. Number 1, discuss and consider a motion to expand the agenda and discuss and consider the following items. A, summary number 97, introduced by Chad Marchand of District 14. Madam Clerk.
Just a second, I'm trying to find it.
Right here.
Okay, discuss and consider a motion to expand the agenda to discuss and consider the following items. Summary number 97, a resolution authorizing the parish president to execute change order number 1 for the LeBee Road project to change the contract from a 250-foot section of LeBee Road approximately 500 feet south of Captain Cade Road from milling, patching, and overlaying LeBee Road to reconstruction, which shall reduce said contract in the amount of $15,000. The purpose of this expansion is to authorize said change order so that the project may continue without delays, as approval would be scheduled for the next regular meeting.
B, summary number 98, introduced by Chad Marchand, District 14. Go to the next one.
Oh, okay. Resolution amending the 2023 Economic Development District Number 1 fund budget in the amount of $70,000 to appropriate funding to elevate and reconstruct the low area of LeBee Road from Captain Cade Road going south from approximately 290 feet by installing a cross-drain pipe 24 feet reinforced concrete across LeBee Road and the drainage ditch running along the south side of Captain Cade Road, all to be funded from the fund balance previous years. Note, this item needs to be amended to include this change to the contract in change order number 1 as authorized by resolution number 2023-97. The purpose of this expansion is to authorize the appropriation of additional funding to further improve LeBee Road in conjunction with the current improvements being made at this time.
Item C, summary number 99, introduced by the clerk, by Chad Marchand, District 14.
A resolution amending the 2023 Economic Development District Number 1 fund budget in the amount of $25,000 to appropriate funding for the continuation of reconstruction for a length of 210 feet south to connect the elevated and reconstructed low area of LeBee Road with the reconstructed section of LeBee Road located approximately 500 feet south of Captain Cade Road, all to be funded from fund balance previous year. Note, this item needs to be amended to include this change to the contract in change order number 1 as authorized by resolution number 2023-97. The purpose of this expansion is to authorize the appropriation of additional funding to further improve LeBee Road in conjunction with the current improvements being made at this time.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing? Motion by Councilman Mathurin, second by Councilman Trahan. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We're now into public comments. Is there anyone from the general, the audience that would like to address summary number 97, 98, and 99? Please do so now. Hearing no requests, I need a motion to go back into regular session. Have a motion by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Pollard. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. I need a motion to expand the agenda.
Move.
Motion by Councilman Mathurin, second by Councilman Napier. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. We now have expanded the agenda. I need a motion to suspend the rules for items that not go to joint committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move.
I have a motion by Councilman Mathurin, a second by Councilman Trahan. So that's for summary. We can do both of them, B and C, together? Okay, I have a roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. We've now suspended the rules. I need a motion to open both summary 97, 98, and 99.
Move.
I have a motion by Councilman Mathurin, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Mathurin.
Waive. I think we've had some discussion.
Councilman Olivier. Any main motion discussion on all three items, members? Councilman Sonia?
Gene? Can I recognize? or
Absolutely.
ask-
He can come
Mr.
to the
Mayor,
mic.
Look,
Stand to the podium, Gene, please.
the roadside, well, you're gonna have to go to the podium. I want to introduce Gene Romero, if nobody knows.
Please do.
him
Let's
yet.
do that. First time.
He needs.
I know some things about Gene that I probably shouldn't say right now, so I'm
We'll
not
take
gonna.
at least one. Give us one about
It was a long time ago.
Hi, my name's Gene Romero. I'm Assistant Public Works Director.
So you familiar with that area, right?
Yes.
I'm concerned with the size of the structure that they want to utilize. I know the roadside ditches there can get pretty deep. Is a 24-inch culvert going to be enough?
I don't think there's one there now.
Yeah, 18s. That's about.
Oh, there's
or
18.
Less. Yeah.
Yeah. We would have to probably get a drainage area. I'm sure the engineering firm probably looked at that. You know,
Yeah, that's where they got the 24 inches from.
Yeah, Sellers is the one that recommended 24.
All right. I mean, I'm not a smart man, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of water that rolls through there.
Yeah, and I
those
think-
ditches are pretty deep.
we talking
Lobby Road.
on the south side of
South side,
Captain Cade.
Yeah.
There's normal road ditches there. I don't. Further south, there's a main channel that crosses.
Okay.
We're not putting anything in the main channel. It would be across the road.
All right.
Yeah, that's where the bridge is being replaced at the main.
Yeah,
channel.
I didn't realize there was an 18-inch somewhere along there.
Yeah, there's not
Yeah,
many of them.
24 would. That's not much.
Okay.
Difference in size.
Councilman Sonia, you finished?
I'm good.
Gene, good job on your first one. Normally, we pick with you a little bit, but we crunch for
It's all
time.
good.
I have a couple other questions, but we'll talk about that later.
I'll try to
Any other main motion discussion, members?
I just want to clarify, for item C, B and C, y'all are including the amendment to include them as change orders?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Hearing no other discussion, members, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Just to remind the public, we do have adjudicated properties that is on our website, iberiaparish.gov, and our next meeting will be May 24th. I'll need a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, Mr. Bo?
I don't know how this works. I omitted a part of an announcement. Can I just wait till after adjournment to say it?
Well, then it won't be put into the record. So if you want a personal privilege without objection, go ahead.
I just want to say that with the weather that we had Saturday, that the roof at Ward 8, our temporary roof at Ward 8, Tammy Trivon with Parks and Rec reported that there were no leaks. So our temporary roof is over.
Good.
Oh, I'm right here. I stayed for that one.
Let me go back. Who did we have the motion to adjourn by?
Put some books in it, you get a good one.
Had a motion by,
Put some books in it, you get a good one.
had a motion by Councilman Brown and second by Councilman Trone. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We now adjourn.